Hello, my name is Helena Clare and I'm the founder of the Light Seekers Way. It's a spiritual platform which brings together people from any faith, every faith, who want to be in the world, blaze their light and just be healers of the planet and themselves. So we have had a few of these vlogs. I've done a few of these vlogs with the focus on death. And I know that death is close to many people at the minute. Just this week, one of my friends recently returned from the funeral of her brother. And, I'm just continuing to hear this all the time. The brother had passed over because of COVID. So I wanted to give a little tip in these vlogs about how we can bring angels into our lives, working with angels, working with the celestial kingdom and ascended masters, which are wise humans on the other side. So when it comes to death, the archangel that works very closely with death is Archangel Azreal. And I always ask Archangel Azrael to be there and help carry over the loved ones that I know that have passed over, just to help them with that journey. Now, there's a lot of evidence about what actually happens when we die. It's a wonderful homecoming. In one of my other vlogs I mentioned a Michael Newton book called Destiny of Souls, where he regressed his patients. He's a psychologist, and he regressed his patients back to before they were born. And he systematically did this with different patients, and they all experienced the same thing. So essentially, there are multiple lives that we have, and then there's the life in between these lives. So in each of the lives that we have, we come back in a different body, but we're the same soul, and our soul goes all the way through these different lives. And the whole point of our lives is that we're here to learn our lessons, to become wiser, more loving, more evolved beings, and eventually get to the point where we ascend, or essentially the point where we're vibrating at a very high frequency, the same frequency as some of the great masters in history, and also the same vibration as angels. So death is not something to be feared in itself. It's a wonderful place to go. It's in fact our home. It's the life in between our lives. But it's not always an easy transition for people making that transition. And obviously we come from lots of different faiths during life, different belief systems in terms of what is on the other side. Some people may not believe there is something on the other side. Others may believe it, but they may not be very familiar with what that is, or they may have a very strong belief, but just not be ready to pass over. And that recently happened to a friend of mine that passed over due to COVID, a young man. And he just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to leave his family, to leave his children, and he found it very traumatic. And I know that because I check in with people I know just to see how they're passing over, whether they're moving smoothly through that transition. And in this particular instance, I was alerted because I was feeling a really acute pain in my thumb. It sounds very strange, but in my left thumb. And when something like that happens, when a very unusual pain happens in my body, I just check in with my guidance, because it's often a message to me. It's often like a kick saying, we want your attention here. Pay attention. And so I paid attention, and essentially my friend was really struggling with the transition. When I check in, most people transition within a few days. But with this particular friend of mine, it took a couple of weeks. And when I call it a transition, it's the physical body has passed, but the soul has to make that journey to the in-between lives. We can call it heaven. And if that soul is still trying to stay clinging to the earth, then it can make that smooth journey very difficult. And the archangel I work with at times like these is Archangel Azrael. And I just ask Azrael just to help the soul pass over, just to help this person pass over smoothly, safely, help them with love, help them with care, and give them the power and the energy they need to pass over smoothly. I do talk to the soul passing over. I do try and give some support. And I'm not saying that this takes very much time at all. It's as quick as saying a prayer or saying an affirmation or doing a meditation. It's just with intention asking Archangel Azrael to accompany that soul over. And I've done it at different times in different places. So often when I go to a new place, I'll just check with my guidance and I'll just see if there are any souls that are stuck that need a bit of assistance passing over. And this happened when I actually went on a work trip to New York, and of course the Twin Towers disaster happened there. And my guidance said, please just go to the memorial of the Twin Towers and just assist with those souls to help them pass over. And so I went, I just closed my eyes, I calmed my mind, I asked Archangel Azrael just to help those souls pass over. I've done it similarly in a place I went to on holiday in northern France. I think it was the Alsace, but it was a place where there had been a terrible siege on a town. A lot of people had been confined in this town, and eventually, after they'd been surrounded for, I think it may even have been many months, many people died of all ages. It was a very, very terrible thing. And so, again, my guidance said, please just help these souls pass over. So it's something anybody can do, and I urge you just to do that. If there's somebody that you've lost or somebody that you really care about, just ask Azrael, Archangel Azrael, to help them pass over. It helps. It really, really helps. It's a very powerful thing that you can do for your loved ones. And even if you don't know the person, but you've just heard of somebody that's passed over, it's a lovely intention to give to help them on their way. So that's just a suggestion of what you may want to do at this difficult time. I'm sending you lots of love. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. It is a magnificent and a magical world that we live in. It's not always easy, but it is very special. So enjoy the journey. Thank you.